The fate of Alabama's upcoming primary election, now in the hands of the country's highest court, is where we start tonight. I'm Kenesha Dees. A historic moment for state elections in the wake of last week's Supreme Court decision in Louisiana versus Calais. That case, removing race as a defining trait for states creating their congressional maps. In 2023, a landmark Supreme Court case ruled Alabama's 2021 congressional map violated the Voting Rights Act by packing black voters into a single district, diluting their voting power. SCOTUS ordered Alabama to draw a new map featuring a second majority black district. But the Louisiana versus Calais ruling turned that decision on its head. Governor Kay Ivey called a special session on Friday after pressure from Republican leaders seeking to eliminate the state's only two Democratic congressional districts, District 2 and District 7. In a statement to Fox 54, Evan Milligan, a plaintiff in the 2023 court case, says he's disappointed in the ruling, saying, quote, "Another special session, more litigation, more public money spent so that elected officials can dilute the votes of the people who pay their salaries," end quote. And with the primary election just more than 2 weeks away, last-minute redistricting could impact your vote. Fox 54's Caleb Aguayo tells us what redistricting could mean for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Alabama Senate will now come to order.
And with the banging of the gavel, the Alabama legislature is in session to debate the future of Alabama's elections and how your vote is counted. If a federally court-ordered injunction is lifted, Alabama could revert to a congressional map drawn in 2021 or redraw the map entirely. State Republicans are pushing to eliminate two majority black congressional districts currently represented by Democratic representatives. And this week's session could impact voters in the primary election on May 19th, especially in districts whose boundary lines were altered in the 2023 redrawing. But the real question is whether the primary election will continue as scheduled at all. Representative Christopher England said in a Facebook post that if the Supreme Court lifts the injunction, Alabama could then reschedule the election entirely.
I think it's egregious that our legislators would devalue our votes in the ones that have already been cast by trying to delay the election on May 19th.
But just a few hours ago, Secretary of State Wes Allen announced the May 19th election will proceed while the state awaits court action. A bill introduced in today's special session creates a plan if the court does permit a new congressional map, allowing for the governor to call a replacement primary election.
We also have people who have already voted in this upcoming primary election via absentee ballot. And so now you're talking about further disenfranchising even more voices by saying that those votes will be invalid and that they'll have to re-vote again. And we know that absentee process is very tedious. Who wants to have to go through that back to back?
If the court lifts the injunction, Alabama's 2nd and 7th districts would be the most affected. However, it's all still pending several decisions at the state and national level. In Huntsville, I'm Caleb Aguayo, Fox 54 News.